I'm Luca Lorenzi, a student in the Media, Communications, and Journalism program, or MCJ for short, with an option in Public Relations. I am also minoring in Italian Studies and Multimedia Arts. Basically, I'm a big fan of both the humanities and the arts. As we return to campus, some classes are meeting in person, while others continue to meet online. We thought it would be nice to show you around to see what an average day looks like for students and faculty throughout the College of Arts and Humanities. Of course, today is Day of Giving, so if you'd like to donate to any other areas presented here today, just click the link in the chat and select the area you would like to contribute to. If you'd like to donate but are unsure where to give, the Dean's Council Annual Fund is a great way to support all areas in the College of Arts and Humanities. Dr. Jadine Elvin is an assistant professor in the linguistics department. Today, she shows us how using technology can be a fun way for students to learn while interacting with each other on campus. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name's Jadine Elvin and I'm from the Department of Linguistics. I'm also the TESOL coordinator, so that means I train people how to teach language. And so today, you're going to follow me on some of my adventures. In my methods class, we're having a little bit of a fun lesson today. We're outside because we're back on campus and I'm really excited about that. And we're going to do a QR amazing race. So I've arrived about an hour early so I can tape up these little clues for my students. Okay, so our next stop is in the Armenian Genocide Monument. So I'm going to pop it right here so it's a little bit out of the way, so I can't make it too easy for them, and hopefully they'll find it. So our last spot are the Three Graces outside of the music building. So I'm just going to pop this here, and so this clue is actually going to send them back to the classroom where we're going to have a little bit of a chat about how you can use technology in an experiential learning experience. So this is Cheryl. Hi. Say hi. So Cheryl's like my bestie, my co-coordinator for the Hub for Language Teaching and Learning. So she's been working on our 141 class because she'll be teaching the one straight after me and doing the exact same activity. We had a bit of a break while we're waiting for students, except one came early and he's recording for us. We're grateful. So we got some juice it up. Does anyone have a clue why I've said for us to meet at the library today?
Because there's computers and technology that's available inside the building?
Yeah, there are, but that's another reason.
Oh.
Right. One new thing that we can use with technology are called QR codes. Has anyone heard of the QR codes?
Yes, you scan it with the camera.
Right. We're starting to use this as a way of giving information out very quickly without even having to print everything. So can anyone guess now what we might be doing today? Yes, we are.
You guys look great. You look great though.
Hey, if they didn't give you directions, you got to find someone else.
Yeah, you guys gotta get directions.
Yay! You made it as well! Alright, Colton, how's it feel to be back on campus and participate in this?
Feels great. Feels good to be involved personally, to be actually interacting with something and not sitting behind a computer screen. So it helps me learn. I'm sure it helps others too, but it's really good.
And let's pan over. Yes! You guys made it!
Wow, thank you, Jadine. That looked fun. When you give to the College of Arts and Humanities and select the Dean's Council Annual Fund during Day of Giving, you are supporting students through scholarships in all 9 departments. Students like Rachel Maciel, who is a senior theater arts major with an emphasis in acting. While the Department of Theater and Dance did an amazing job creating innovative productions during the pandemic, these natural performers are excited to be back on campus and on stage in front of live audiences. Senior Cassidy LeClaire shows us what her day looks like.
Hello, my name is Cassidy LeClaire. I'm a senior here at Fresno State and my major is theater arts with an emphasis in acting. Getting to be able to come back to classes in person has been amazing. I love just walking to class and seeing people around me and sitting in a classroom with other human beings rather than seeing their face on a computer screen. I'm a very visual learner, so to be able to work with my hands, work with my peers next to me is a wonderful thing that I will never take for granted again. Another thing I love about being back on campus is I can use all the campus resources. For example, the library. I love going to the library, studying, getting in my zone, but also still being surrounded by people. You know, we're all working, we're all trying to get things done, so it's really nice to be surrounded by everyone again. I also really love being able to come back to my campus job. I work as a student assistant in the box office, and it's so much fun to sell tickets for each show that we're doing and see the people that are excited to come see these shows. I love the work ethic that everyone puts into each and every show, and to be a part of it is really wonderful. But my absolute favorite thing about being back on campus is going to rehearsal. Rehearsal in person has honestly been a dream. I feel like myself again. I feel comfortable. Just getting to create art again with people in person has really made me appreciate the work that we do, and I'm just so thankful to be back. I am so thankful for the contributions from our donors. With their support, we have been able to open up our season to a live performance and have a live audience. They have enriched my education, and I'm forever thankful.
If you would like to be one of those donors who has an impact on our students' lives, just visit dayofgiving.fresnostate.edu. Click on College of Arts and Humanities. Between the Maple entrance to Fresno State and the Satellite Student Union sits the Armenian Genocide Monument. Every year on April 24th, thousands gather in remembrance of the 1915 arrest of Armenian intellectuals and leaders by the Ottoman Empire, which started a genocide in which 1.5 million Armenians were killed. This year, 7 Armenian Studies students are studying in the Smith Camp Family Honors College. Staff writer Sarah Babarian with the Armenian Studies newspaper, I Jarzum, sat down for a Q&A session with these top students. You can find the link in the chat. And now we come to my area, Media, Communication, and Journalism, or MCJ, and my focus is on public relations. After a life-saving surgery from doctors at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital at Stanford University, I started a service project called Pack It Up for Packard, which collects art supplies for children being treated in the hospital. While delivering the donations, I met the director of communication for the hospital and found my passion for public relations. There is a story about me on the College of Arts and Humanities blog. You can find the link in the chat. But enough about me. I'd like to introduce you to some of my amazing classmates. Cassie, tell us about your week.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassie, and this is my week as an ad PR student. Normally I'm in the office for my internship with the athletics department, but today we're on location for men's basketball. I go home for a meeting, and then I work on the MCJ socials and do some homework. The next day, I'm back on campus for a couple back-to-back meetings with Professor Hayes, and then I have my in-person social media class. I go to the library to work on my online class. I have a working lunch, and then I end the day with a PR SSA meeting, and that's a typical week for me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Jesus Cano, and I am an MCJ student, specifically on the digital journalism side, and this here is a day in my life. And we're walking to class person. Here I am in class getting work done before the real stuff gets going. So this is something that I pride myself a lot. I am the managing editor at the Collegian, and here is our homecoming edition because it's homecoming week and we do a lot producing the paper, and I wanted to show you guys the finished product here. There's my desk, and as you'll see, here's the back sports pages. And we're going to get a little bit into the paper right here. We have advertisers. Our ad team did a fantastic job selling. And of course, the group of reporters that we have did a good job putting out content. Here's something I wrote, an opinion piece about the Oakland Athletics, which also happened to be my favorite baseball team. And yeah, here it is. Thank you so much for having me in.
Hey there, My name is Caitlin, and this is my life as an MCJ Film and Media Arts student. My weeks as a film student usually start on Tuesdays when I go to my MCJ 115 class. There we learn about a bunch of aspects of filmmaking and we get our assignment. I come home, write my script, and then get started with filming. While filming, I direct my actors, incorporate lighting techniques, and use the camera to get the perfect shot. After filming comes editing. I throw everything into Premiere Pro and use sound, transitions, my clips, and everything else to make it the best video it can be. And that's my life as a film and media arts student.
Starting the day off with a workout, of course, gotta get it in. Walking to class, MCJ 128, better known as Fresno State Focus, of course, in speech arts. This class is actually from 12 to 5 p.m. and usually when I tell people that, they look super concerned, but trust me, we need all of the time we can to go over past shows, future shows, and present shows. Editing, as always, Rundown Creator is a broadcast journalism student's Bible, as well as Premiere Pro. And of course, learning from the best, Faith Sidlow. Going over last week's show, I anchored, so we're critiquing and seeing where I have room for improvement to get ready for next week. Next, I'm rehearsing for my live shot with MCJ 123, which is Fresno State Focus crew. Here we are in the studio. As always, we rehearse every Monday for our live show on Wednesdays. Then again, crew queuing. And back at home 5 p.m. for a nap.
Wow, Brooke, what a day. So much energy. Brooke is a Dean's Council Scholarship recipient. One of my PR classmates, Stephanie Blanchfield, is also one of the students who received the Dean's Council Scholarship, funded in part by your Day of Giving donations. Here's what she said. I love the Italian Studies program because it has an interdisciplinary focus that is so much more than just learning the language. It emphasizes the contributions of the Italian culture to global innovation in all human endeavors. The program is in the Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures, or MCLL. And as you'll see in our next video, once you find the department, you will find the world.
Hello, welcome. My name's Paul and I'm here to help you with anything you might need. For example, let me introduce you to the chair. Come right over here.
Hello, I'm Natalie Munoz, the Chair of Modern and Classical Languages and Literatures. We have 11 different programs for you to choose from. Let's take a look at a few of those.
So now we're going to see sería estar con adjetivos otra vez, ¿verdad? With many descriptive adjectives said and that can both be used.
Buongiorno classe.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Come state?
Mientras con menosprecio, en medio el llano, mira tu blanca frente, el lirio bello. Mientras a cada labio, por cogerlo.
Hallo und willkommen bei Deutsch. Heute lernen wir über Redewendungen. Redewendungen are idiomatic expressions. Danke und tschüss.
On va réviser les maladies et les symptômes. Donc, pour chaque image, j'aimerais que vous écriviez ce qui ne va pas avec chaque personne.
Equals the definite article.
George, ¿cuándo estás con calor?
Yo estoy con calor.
When you learn how to translate at least part of the university seal, yeah, you will be among the elite club that is able to do that.
Entonces, estamos sustituyendo Casablanca por, quién sabe, o sea, tal persona dentro de la administración.
Now that you've seen a glimpse of what we do in our department, I hope you'll consider donating to one or more of our programs in modern and classical languages and literatures.
My other minor is arguably based on my first love, art, or specifically multimedia art, an interdisciplinary program split between the MCJ and Art and Design departments. I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Kathy Adams, Chair of the Art and Design Department, to show us all the creative things going on in the Conley Arts Building.
Hello, I'm Dr. Kathy Adams, Chair of Art and Design, and I'm going to take you on a brief video tour. Our main building here, the Phoebe Conley Art Building, named after a renowned Valley artist, Phoebe Conley. Here you see our gallery that currently has a show going on. We've got a sculpture class. Everybody's shout out. What class is this?
This is Art 50.
Art 50
Sculpture.
is what, beginning sculpture?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a ceramic studio right in there. The students drop off. They're coming in all day today to drop off their work, to get fired. And you can see all their work on these shelves. Students working on drawings. Hi students, everybody say hi.
Hi.
This class is what?
This is beginning drawing.
Beginning drawing, part of the studio art program. Everybody wave.
Hello everyone.
They start here. They work with apples and oranges and move to more complicated projects. And here we have a glass blowing student working with some glass.
Put it on the
going
rail.
to become.
I'm going to right down the end here, looking up for the mountain.
Oh, that's why we call it glass blowing. For the glass? And right now we've got a couple of folks in here working on their prints. Everybody say hi. And this student is working on
copper printmaking.
Copper printmaking. So you put the print on the copper?
We carve into the copper and then we use acid to turn it onto the paper.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And this student over here is working on.
I'm a screen printing student, and this is my new stencil, and I'm using screen filler process right now.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that. Ooh, this is the interior design student. Yay! Award-winning interior design students. This is another interior design course with our students busy working on their projects. And as I mentioned before, award-winning projects. Here's all kinds of resource materials that we have available for our students and instructors in interior design.
Yeah, and then we have
a vibrant and growing program in art and design.
Thank you, Dr. Adams. In the Department of Communication, they teach a balance of humanistic and scientific instruction, including communication skills people need to function effectively in teaching business, law, the communication professions, public service, politics, and management. Plus, as a communication student, Tiffany Paxton shows us sometimes the day in the life of a student means a quick trip to Yosemite to unwind. Alejandra de Alba Galvan is a graduate student in the Department of Communication, and she plans to get her doctorate as an educator in higher education. She received a scholarship through the Dean's Council, partially funded by Your Day of Giving donations, which made a difference and allowed her to continue her education. Last year, the Dean's Medalist for the College of Arts and Humanities was Caleb Charles, who received his BA in philosophy with a pre-law emphasis. In June 2020, Charles led a group of protesters in Selma, California. With fist raised for 8 minutes, and 46 seconds, they knelt as the names of the African Americans unjustly killed broke the silence. Charles was one of the first students to go through the Central Valley Regional Pathway to Law Pipeline, which seeks to provide a pathway for minoritized students to get their law degree. As a Dean's Medalist, Charles received a stipend through the Dean's Council Annual Fund. If you would like to read more about Caleb Charles, we have a link in the chat. Longtime philosophy staff member Ruth Arpicchio imagines the return of students to the Phil Zone and talks with staff members about the return to classes and a new technology called HiFlex.
Hi, I'm Ruth Aparicio. I've been the Department Administrative Assistant for the last 21 years in the Philosophy Department. It's an interesting department. You hear a lot of different conversations and you learn a lot just listening to the students and the faculty interact with each other. I'm really looking forward when everyone will return to campus. I'm sitting here in the conference room, which is also known as the Phil Zone, and it's where students come in and have discussions. The faculty will sometimes join them, and it's always great to overhear or eavesdrop on them while they talk in here.
Hi, my name is Professor Veena Howard. I'm in the Department of Philosophy. And here we are back in the classroom, but in a more attenuated way. So I teach face-to-face, so I wear a shield, some kind, look like a space woman. And I have that Philosophy 2 is a large section with 128 students. So I have maybe 80 students show up in class and some of them are on Zoom. So I teach, this is called HiFlex. It really is highly flexible. And when students speak up on Zoom, it just feels like some voice is coming from the sky and the whole class listens to that and whole class engages with that. So it has been challenging, but at the same time has given me opportunity to push ourselves to make what is not normal, to help our students to get the best out of this year, which has been challenging.
I'm Andrew Fiala. I'm a professor of philosophy. As director of the Ethics Center, I worked really hard through the past year to turn that into a virtual ethics center. So we did a lot of events online during the past year. We were able to spread our audience because if it's online, anybody can come. You don't have to worry about parking on campus. And those events, our Ethics Center events, are for students, faculty, and the community. They're open to the public. We actually grew the audience quite a bit through COVID, which I think is really cool. In all of these events, what I try to help people do is engage in critical, but also civil discourse and civil dialogue. So, everything's on the table. We can talk about issues that we disagree about, and we disagree about a lot of things, but we want to do it kindly and generously, and with critical thinking always in the background.
Assistant Professor Jenny Krajewski shows us what it's like to be an English professor at Fresno State, and briefly explains that some unicorns can talk. Possibly. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Krajewski, an assistant professor in the English department at Fresno State. And in this video, in honor of Day of Giving, I'd like to share a snapshot of what it's like to be an English professor in fall of 2021. So I'll start at home and finish in the classroom. So thanks for coming along.
First thing about my reports. I spent all day on those.
Horses unicorns can't talk.
Unicorns can't talk? I think it depends on the unicorn, maybe. Come on. Oh, you're done? One of the cool things about working at Peter's building is that you can see the dressage team practice.
The class is English 250T, Language, Literacy, and Global Movement. And it's a class that really digs into what is language, what is the experience of people who can speak multiple languages, how that connects to literacy practices, and what happens when people who are multilingual, what happens when they move across geopolitical boundaries, move through time and space, and still practice literacy and language in their specific ways. Sometimes I don't know which student is talking because of the mask on their face. And I'm like looking at one person and they're like, she's behind me. And I'm like, my bad, sorry, yes, go on. Where in graduate school I was holding a certain liminal, more contingent position, I now am stepping into a position with a lot more institutional power. And so how to deploy that in a way that is helpful to the people that I ultimately am here for, which is the students. Very mindful of that.
Dean's Council Scholarship recipient Ivan Villanueva is a first-generation student majoring in English education. He has a love of the field of education because of the impact it has on lives. He is looking to inspire the next generation by building a positive culture wherever he goes. Live music is back. Let's follow percussion students Amanda Steinhauer and Charles Vonderscheidt as they show us their day.
Hi, I'm Amanda Steinhauer.
Hi, I'm Charles Vonderscheidt.
And we are both studying percussion performance at Fresno State in the music department. And this is a day in the life of a Fresno State music student. Welcome to the percussion studio. This is where we come to practice. Charles and I are both in a quartet with two other Fresno State music students, Peyton and Esteban, and we play a lot of chamber music together. Today we are working on the piece Third Construction by John Cage. It was written in the 1940s for percussion ensemble, and it uses various drums, tin cans, maracas, claves, and even a conch shell.
Now Esteban and I will head over to Jazz Orchestra to play some jazz.
Hello, after rehearsal I come to Selma High School and I teach front ensemble. Woo!
Now it's time to practice some marimba.
After teaching in Selma, I come back to Fresno State to the percussion studio where I am practicing the marimba, which you can see here. I am practicing the piece Northern Lights by Erica Wazen. Once I'm done practicing for the night, I'm gonna go head out and check the marching band because they're rehearsing, where Charles is working with the front ensemble as the grad assistant.
The last thing I gotta do for today is teach the Fresno State Bulldog Marching Band. And that is the day in the life of a Fresno State music student.
As a scholarship recipient myself, I can tell you that they make a huge difference in my education. We've met a few other students who have been helped through your generous support, but there are many more. So if one of the departments we looked at inspires you, please consider giving to that area. The link is in the chat. If you're not sure who to support, consider supporting the Dean's Council Annual Fund, which supports students through scholarships and provides funds for areas that need it most, such as sending students to conferences, study abroad, or even art supplies. I would like to point out that your gift can be the difference between a student attending college or not. The difference between a student having access to required supplies or not. The difference between a student being able to attend a conference or not. When you add these up and consider the positive influence that these students will have in our community and society as they graduate, the impact is staggering. Where else can a donation as little as $10 make such a big difference?